Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the news this Wednesday morning. The funniest thing about the State of the Union address tonight from President Mashed Potato Brains is that he knows very well, stating that Trump increased the national debt or that he decreased the deficit, or that inflation has decreased under his watch. These statements he knows very well are extremely deceptive. In many ways, blatantly false statements. So the national debt did not go up because of Trump's policies. The last year in office, Democratic governors along with bureaucratic and government officials who shall remain nameless, but who are absolutely revered by media and by the Democratic Party. These in law along with publications, pushed to end the shutdown economies, state economies. Democratic governors gleefully shut down their state economies. We had record low poverty in 2019, according to CNN under Trump. Okay. So Trump in the national debt. Facts first, Biden's claim is correct. No, it is not correct. It was not Trump's policy. Trump's policies was not bad. They had nothing to do with shutting down state economies because of irreverence to a fabricated consensus. And then you have trouble the national debt. Biden criticized the management, saying the nearly 25% of the entire national debt was added by just one administration alone. That is the most absurd, deceptive lie. It happened during Trump's last year in office because Democrats, media bureaucrats, Twitter, working with government officials, Democratic congresspeople suppressed any dissent. If you stated no, you shouldn't shut down their conservatives who either risked jail time or, I believe in many cases, went to jail had a political they were persecuted politically and economically, just for opening up restaurants. It was the independent, conservative-minded business owner that wanted to keep open. And it was the Democratic governor that tried to crush this type of individual, the entrepreneur, the business owner, and so 25% of the entire national dinner game. Facts first, Biden's claim is correct. Biden's claim is absolutely not correct. This is CNN increased under just under $1 trillion during Trump's 4 years in office with the majority in his last year in office. And the reason why should say with a great percentage, almost half of that within his last year in office. Now you have to the interesting thing is it's important to note though, that some of the increase in the debt during Trump's era was because of some of the increase of big, like almost half of the increase. We had record low poverty. And you look, this is pure fantasy. The deficits that we have, the $1 trillion deficits, are the result of shutting down economic economies. The Democrats pushed to shut down economic activity, bureaucrats, government officials, Twitter media pushed to impose draconian policies because of you know what? And then they blame Trump as if we didn't live through the past 3-4 years, our past 3 years. Sorry. We went from record low unemployment to 22 million people unemployed within 3 months in the beginning of 2022. That was not Trump's fault. And you say, well, it was because he didn't handle it correctly. They wanted him out. And there was a political motive to teach you the most apoplectic and absurd, hysterical, maniacal reaction to a serious issue affecting a certain demographic or age group, which most Americans do not belong to, but that's a whole other story. Primarily that age group. Trump is going after the DeSantis. He released a photo of him. And some significant news. The truth about Vladimir Putin, Ukraine, money laundering. The fact that Ukraine is struggling in this war, despite what the mainstream media tells you, and what's really going on with these tanks. And most of Europe, so make sure to go watch that, it's really good. It's getting really positive feedback. Okay, SA spy balloon have been released. General Glenn Van Herk has confirmed that there were spy balloons during the time of President Trump, but they were never told about those balloons. Now I find it utterly shocking how an advanced military like ours failed to detect spy balloons from one of the United States' biggest potential enemies, China. The balloons measured 200 feet tall and weighed 1,000 of panels. You could literally see them from the ground. And yet we didn't pick up on it. And if we did, we didn't tell the President of the United States about a potential espionage or threat to American citizens' lives. So there's going to have to be an explanation on why this information was kept secret even from the President. Now, according to the White House and several news sources, President Biden has been trying to reach out to Chinese President Xi Jinping to discuss the balloons, the shooting down of the balloons, and what information they were extracting from. However, China refuses to take their calls. They've been like, boom, talk to the hand Biden, they are cutting him off completely. That's never a good sign. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has offered more insight into the state of the U.S. economy at a Federal Open Market Committee event. Powell seemed optimistic about the next few years, but not so optimistic about the next few months. He stated the process is likely to take quite a bit of time. We expect 2023 to be a year of significant decline in inflation. My guess is it will take certainly into next year, but by next year, we could get to 2%. So this is a bittersweet moment where everything that you buy, gas, food, eggs, milk, meat, it's all more expensive, but the trend is that this is coming down. So that's good news. It's just not good news immediately. Right. But we are trending in the right direction. According to the Federal Reserve, President Joe Biden will give his State of the Union speech tonight. Reports indicate that he will hone in on fixing the deadly drug problem with fentanyl, delivering obligations to U.S. veterans, helping those with mental health issues, and advancing the fight in cancer treatment. These are the 4 areas where there seems to be bipartisan support. He will also likely bring up past issues in order to take jabs at Donald Trump and his political enemies. So just an idea of what to expect later this evening. Now, you can already guess that President Biden plans to brag about how strong the U.S. economy is. But data out today shows more Americans than ever are hitting the limits of their credit card balances. Second, Goldman Sachs worries a large percentage of American households will burn through their emergency fund in the next few months, pointing out that many of them already have. So although, we want to be optimistic, hey, we might avoid a recession. Things are starting to look good. We had 500,000 new jobs. These are all really good points. But what Biden is really saying is that the rich are thriving under his presidency, while most of the country who already was living paycheck to paycheck is now living paycheck to paycheck. Rachel just praying that that dollar will stretch, and it's stretched into credit card debt and burning into people's emergency funds. So that's the reality of what we're really living in. And also, new polling data out today showed that close to 60% of the country said that they were financially better off under Trump than under Biden. Now, I don't think that you can, lump everything onto one president, good or bad, because we've lived through a pandemic, and there's been inflation issues, but there have also been policy issues that have directly affected your wallet and your bottom line, and we can't deny that. Now, The Times has reported that Democrat insiders have revealed that Hillary Clinton is not confident that Vice President Kamala Harris should run for president in 2024. Clinton reportedly said that Harris lacks the political instinct to clear even a primary field during a private conversation. So it's abundantly clear that the Democrat officials are considering other people to possibly take Biden's place because of his age and his mental acuity. But one thing we know for certain is that Democrats are bad-mouthing Kamala Harris behind her back. So it's becoming very obvious that they are wanting a change in the White House. For example, popular Democrat fundraiser, John Morgan stated, "I can't think of one thing Harris has done, except stay out of the way and stand beside Biden at ceremonies. Like that's it, that's the most that I've seen her do." So the secret is out. The elites, the political families that have their claws in America, those that secretly run Washington, D.C., they will begin to make their moves against Biden to either keep him in power, but under their control, or to boot him out completely. Now, they are certainly making a big deal of the top secret classified documents found at 4 locations connected to Biden, and also these Chinese spy balloons. So the timing of this is all very, very curious. But there's no doubt that the Democrat Party is preparing to either remove Vice President Kamala Harris or block her from trying to run against Biden in 2024. Am I wrong, or are they about to make some really big moves against their own party members? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Former Israeli Prime Minister Bennett has accused the West, specifically NATO members of the G7, of blocking him from attempting to end the Russia-Ukraine war, just after it began. He stated that he got Putin to agree to let Zelensky live, and that he would allow Ukraine to keep their sovereignty and their weapons. Basically, they wouldn't overtake Ukraine and they wouldn't take out Ukraine's leader. On the other side, he claims he got Zelensky to agree to renounce seeking membership in NATO, and that if this happened that Putin would stop the attack. However, despite the success, Bennett stated, I think there is a legitimate decision by the West to keep striking Putin and not negotiate for peace. So who do you think is really behind keeping this war going? That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. If you're up for it, I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I will